So now we're moving into actually programming, and we're going to take a look first at the Golang Playground. So the Golang Playground is a place where you could write code online. You don't have to get any environment set up. You don't have to set any environment variables. You don't need to figure out an editor. You can just go to a website called the Golang Playground, and you could start writing Go code. So that's where we're going to start, just so that we could get into writing code as fast as possible. And then later in this course, I'm going to show you how to set up and configure Go on your computer, set environment variables, and which editors to use. So there's a couple of different editors out there which I recommend. We'll see how to do that in a future video. All right, so let's get started. So to do that, to go to the Golang Playground, you just go to your browser on the web and type in Golang Playground. And it should take you straight to the Go Playground. Just click that link. And this is a place where you could write Go code. Now the first thing you see here is we have package main, and then we have import, and we have func main. We're going to learn about that in the next video and learn all about Hello World in the next video. I just want to introduce you to the Golang Playground in this video. And so we have a couple of buttons up here. One button is share. And so if you click this share button, you get a URL to the code as it is at that point in time when you click the share button. So you could write some code here. If you ever have a question, this is a good place. Come put your code here for your question. And then you could take this URL and you could paste it or send it to somebody. So for instance, I might go to the Golang forum, Go bridge. I always forget the exact URL. There it is. And it's the forum golangbridge.org. forum.golangbridge.org. This is a great place to ask questions. A lot of heavy hitters in the Go community hang out here. And so you might ask a question and then say, oh, here's my code. Can you please work with it and tell me what I'm doing wrong? And then somebody would work with it, and then they would click share, get a different URL, and send you the answer back. So that's a really cool thing. Here we have imports. So in Go, we organize our code into packages. There's a standard library which comes with a bunch of pre-written code. It's organized into packages. Right here I'm using package funct, and I'm using the print line function to print something out. So from package funct, I'm calling this identifier. So that's a syntax that you're going to see as you learn the Go programming language. You'll have a package, and then you'll have some identifier, a variable, a constant, a function, which has been exported from the package. And so if I want to import that, when this isn't checked, if I just click format, nothing, right? But if this is checked and I click format, now it's going to bring in the import statement. So it's importing this package so that my code could then use code that is in that package. So that's what imports does, and the format button, one of the things it does is it brings in the imports in the Golang Playground here. It brings in the imports if you have that checked. Format will also format your code. So for instance, right now, this line of code is against the wall. If I click format, it's going to format it in an idiomatic way. And so idiomatic, every culture has idioms or patterns of speech. And so here's what idioms looks like. Idioms define. Idioms of a group of words established by usage as having meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. Rain, cats and dogs, see the lights. A characteristic mode of expression in music or art. Kind of interesting, right? But an idiom is like a pattern of speech or a way of saying something. And so in Go, when you hear somebody say idiomatic Go code, that is Go code that's written in the way that we as the Golang community write that code. So there's an idiomatic way to write Go code, and we call that idiomatic Go. So that's kind of an interesting word when you first hear it. And but that's what it means, is you're writing it in the way of this community, right? These are the patterns of speech. These are the idioms that we use. And so this would be idiomatic code to have it formatted. And there's a certain way that your code gets formatted. And there's a tool which you could use to format all your code. And that means that as you work on teams, everybody's code looks the same. And so it's really easy to work with each other because the code is all looking very similar, and you don't go to somebody else's code and you have this whole other way of like just formatting it. So that's to format your code, click that button. And then finally you could click run, and that's going to run your code. So it'll compile it down to an executable and execute it. Go compiles down to binary, a straight executable, doesn't run on top of another runtime or virtual environment or virtual machine or anything like that. It's binary code running on the hardware. And as we're going to learn, there's a mechanical sympathy that the Go programming language achieves. And a mechanical sympathy, it has sympathy with the machine, right? So mechanical sympathy, Go will compile for the specific hardware it's running on and compile in a way where it will run on that hardware in the most efficient way possible, which is pretty cool. All right, that's an introduction to the Go Playground. And this morning, I'm drinking coffee.